Well, it is deja vu for the Port Huron Prowlers, a do-or-die game at Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex for the second straight season. Will Wiggleman here alongside my color partner, Joe Noonan. And Noons, you were with the team last year. Is the second straight season. Stop me if you've heard this one before. Prowlers make a comeback, but it falls short against Carolina at home in Game 1. Now they have to come down to Carolina in Game 2 for a do-or-die game. Does that sound a little bit familiar?
It does. Hopefully it doesn't end like it did last year, both for the team and for myself. I actually was not in the arena for the end of the season, end of the game last year when it ended in overtime. I was sitting with a teammate who had to go to the emergency room to get his mouth fixed up. We were watching on our phones, and we were in the ER for a few hours after the game ended, getting him fixed up. So hopefully it's a better showing on all fronts tonight for the Prowlers.
Yeah, hopefully a better showing on offense, and hopefully no one to the emergency room tonight as well. But Prowlers losing last night 6-3. We'll go over that game coming up shortly as we get set for game number 2 between the Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Carolina, you see up there on your screen the box score from last night's 6-3 Game 1 loss for the Prowlers. And this one did not start at all the way the Prowlers had hoped, as Peter Panacek scored 2 minutes and 43 seconds into the game. That was the first of 3 goals for him. That came off a rebound. Yuri Pastuka doubled the advantage in that first period, and 3 more in the second, and Carolina was up 5-0. And Wyatt Hofflin ended up getting pulled after that 4th Carolina goal, replaced by Ian Wallace, who stopped 8 of 9 shots that came his way, but the mountain just too high to climb for the Prowlers.
Yeah, it's difficult to spot any team in any league 5 goals to start off a period. If you had told me that Gus Ford was going to finish the night with 0 goals and only 2 assists, I would have thought that the Prowlers would have come out on top on that one, but it really speaks to Carolina's depth that they have up front, offensive firepower. But the Prowlers have a good deep lineup as well, and we saw it last night as the game wore on. The longer it went, the better chances they had. Almost tied it up with several opportunities that either missed the net or got blown dead, or that Babbitt made a couple of good saves on. So no reason they can't come out tonight with the same effort and have a different result.
And you talk about that depth. Well, Peter Panacek, part of that check line for Carolina. Panacek, Pastuka, and Jan Salak. Panacek and Pastuka, 3 goals apiece. Jan Salak also picking up an assist last night, but for Panacek, the first star of the game with a hat trick. He also had 6 shots on goal. A great performance for him in that game last night. Let's see at the bracket for the Commissioner's Cup playoffs right now. We do have one team that has already advanced. That is the Columbus River Dragons. They blasted Motor City 7-2 last night at home in Columbus. So the Dragons, the first team to move on in these Commissioner's Cup playoffs. They sweep the Motor City Rockers, and they will await the winner of this series. Of course, Carolina leading it 1-0. On the other side of the bracket, Danbury and Binghamton each won Game 1 of their respective games, and not too much surprise there.
Nope, those are the 2 best teams over from that side of the league, and 2 of the most talented teams, I would say. They both have really deep rosters.
Well, the Prowlers changing up the lines and the deep pairs just a little bit tonight. It's the same players, but some different line combinations. Tucker Scantleberry and Sam Merritt will now have Liam Freeborn on their right wing for tonight. Dan Chartrand moves from the 10th forward to a line with Evan Foley and Joe Devaney, where that was a spot that Larry Vartiainen occupied for part of this season. Austin Federley and Matt Graham now have Dalton Jay on their right wing, and Sam Williams moves from defense up to forward. And then on the back end, Matt Stoya moves from up front to defense. He'll be paired up with Brian Parsons, Alex Johnson, and Gino Mini together, and Adam Hansel and Frank Schumacher. We didn't get the starters quick enough to put them on this graphic, but I do have them for you. It will be that Chartrand, Foley, Devaney line, except without Joe Devaney, it will be Sam Williams, the 10th forward, lining up at right wing to start tonight's game for the Prowlers. Adam Hansel and Frank Schumacher, the starting defense pair, and Brian Tollew in net tonight, the only player who was not dressed last night, who is dressed tonight for the game. And Nunes, you see the different forward lines, and it looks like Matt Graham is trying to spark a little bit of offense here, trying to mix some things up.
I think so. I'm glad to see Foley and Devs back together on that second line there. Chartrand, like you said, has taken Larry's spot that he had earlier in the year. Anybody that's been filtered in to those lines, Foley was out for a while, Devs was out for a while, obviously Larry's been gone for a little bit, but there's been success as long as two of those three guys have been on a line together. And then getting Graham and Dalton Jay back together, obviously with Austin Federley, three guys that have been teammates for a long time. I'm sure they'll pick it up right where they left off.
So those are your lines for tonight's game for the Prowlers. And they're just announcing the starters here for the Carolina Thunderbirds as we are just minutes away from action. And it looks like the Thunderbirds will be starting with that check line as Peter Panacek comes out as part of the starting lineup. Joe Kennedy as well. Victor Grebenikov, so it looks like it would be Grebenikov and Kennedy with the check line for Carolina. Boris Babik will be going again, so I'm told. So those are your starters for tonight's game. And we will take you down to ice level for the rest of the pregame ceremonies here on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. We got the anthem done, and we're just about set for puck drop on game number 2 here from the Nest in Winston-Salem. But first, let's take a look at the starting goaltenders for tonight's game. It's going to be Boris Babic going once again for Carolina after allowing 3 goals on 39 shots, last night in Port Huron in the Game 1 victory. Brian Tulliu may be the most well-rested player on either side tonight. He gets the start for Port Huron after not dressing yesterday. So an interesting move to go to Brian Tulliu, the rookie out of Lawrence University.
Yep, Tulliu should be pretty well rested, like you said. Didn't dress last night. Hopefully he got a good night's sleep. He looks like he's ready to go. Thought he had a pretty good warm-up.
So Tulliu will be sliding into the goal crease, 2 hour left just as soon as we're done with the ceremonial puck drops over here. As looks like we have a clown dropping the ceremonial puck.
I think he's got a custom Crybaby Alex Johnson t-shirt on.
You know what? That's fantastic. We know Alex Johnson has a good sense of humor about that kind of stuff. In Danbury, actually, Alex Johnson signed a poster that a Danbury fan had with the Alex Johnson crying edit on top of it. So we know Alex Johnson does have some good sense of humor about that one, but he's a guy who gets chirped a lot here in Carolina, and you know he's someone who's motivated to score. And Nunes is now showing me a picture he took with this guy last year. What a good teammate Joe Noonan is.
I just hope the guys washed the shirt since last year.
We're underway here in game 2. Evan Foley skates into it, works to the offensive end. It's poked off his stick by Joe Kennedy. Gorbenikov picks it up behind the net. Thunderbirds wearing their alternate black uniforms tonight. Prowlers went with their alternate golds last night at home. Foley quickly rips it up to Dan Chartrand. He skies it behind the net. Schumacher first on it, pokes it deeper as the Prowlers are in the midst of a change. They send out the Merritt line. Comes out in front, Freeborn over to Merritt, and he just couldn't get it on net. And that one was just a bit of a turnover there. Came out quickly, and Sam Merritt couldn't get a clean look. Here's Panacek coming off a hat trick last night. He gave it away, and Adam Hainzel gets the red line and dumps it in. A minute gone in period number 1. We see our first physical play here on the boards. Scantlebury back up with the puck. It comes out to Freeborn. He scored his first career pro goal in this building. That was back in December. Here he is back with the puck. Sends Austin Federley in off the bench. Federley with a quick shot stopped by Babic. And Jacob Schnapp comes up with the rebound. Fans here turning out very well at the Annex. Lots of support for the Thunderbirds tonight. This is their first home playoff game of the year. They're looking to advance to round 2. Gus Ford gives it to Schnapp. He sends it on net, steered away by Tulliu. Ford tried to cycle it down low. A couple of Prowlers get there ahead of Schnapp. It's Matt Graham battling it up the boards. Backhanded down towards Schnapp, and now Blake Peavy from the line. His shot blocked by Matt Stoya. If you missed our pregame show, Stoya playing defense tonight. Sam Williams has been moved up to offense. And those two have played both positions for the Prowlers so far this year. Here's Foley chasing after a loose puck, and he just couldn't get there in time to put it on net. Now Foley again at the side of the cage. It's pushed behind the net. Susie goes to pick up his loose stick behind the cage, and now it's worked up the boards to Gus Ford. Be on the lookout for Matt Stoy and Sam Williams to maybe be switching back and forth a little bit at different times in this game, depending on what the situation dictates. Peavy gives it over to Dawson Baker, number 25. Schnapp tries to tip it along, and Gino Mini chops it up the wall. Merritt with plenty of speed for Thunderbirds back. Merritt turns the corner, got it there. It pops up in the air and out the other side. Chartrand below the goal line. Head up, And he's taken in by Keplinger. And the puck left there for the Thunderbirds captain, John Batista. 16:52 to go in the opening period. Here comes Kennedy. Kennedy put it towards the middle of the ice and sent back to the corner by Merritt. Long lead pass for Scantlebury out of his reach. And Lucas Rowe, the FPHL's Rookie of the Year, back on it. Early shots favoring the Prowlers 2-1. We are 3.5 minutes into game number 2. That one got sent through the crease, rescued by the Prowlers, and it comes all the way down. And we'll have an icing, but plenty of action back and forth to start this game.
I think that's exactly what you want if you're Prowlers. You get all three forward lines, all three defensive pairings out there within the first 2.5 minutes. Get the lines rolling nice and quick, keep the guys fresh. A lot of hard hits, good cycles down low, shots are even, but the Prowlers have carried the play so far.
Schumacher works it up the wall. Here comes Freeborn. Has Graham, tried to send it to him, and he just bats it into offensive territory. He'll chase after it himself. Freeborn tried to center, couldn't find Scantlebury, and now it's Rowe the other way. Rowe trying to dance his way to the middle of the ice. Two Prowlers collapsed on him. And now Graham gave it away. Keplinger couldn't find it in his feet, and Scantlebury's able to get out towards the point. First one-time blast goes wide. Graham able to get it out. First steps in front of Scantlebury. And the puck comes to Carolina ice as the Prowlers complete a change. Keplinger touches it in from the red line. And Tolyu couldn't get out to reach it cleanly. So here comes Matt Stoya trying to send Austin Federley through. That one hit Peavy. Peavy's on it again. Flipped out. Panacek skates into it. Now Salak back outside to Panacek. He couldn't get a shot away. Matt Stoya's stick goes flying. He'll pick it up as Dalton Jay goes the other way. Jay works it into the corner. It's taken away by Pastuka. Now up to Panacek. Parsons gets it in. Prowlers with another quick change. Keeping these shifts nice and short early, Nunes.
For sure, you can see the speed out there that the guys are playing with. Been on the bus for the majority of the last 12, 13 hours. So you want to keep the boys rolling, not let the bus legs settle in too early in the game.
Chartrand cycles it deep. Merritt gets there behind the net. That's Susi battling with him from his knees. And now it's Devaney. Out to Chartrand, couldn't get it in a good shooting position. It's stuck in Merritt's feet. Chartrand pulls it out to Devaney behind the net. Back over towards Chartrand. 14:15 to go in the opening period. Devaney curling away from pressure. And now Chartrand on it again. Up top, Stoya walks in, shoots, and that one off the dasher and flies out of play. Good pressure from the Prowlers early, cycling it well in the offensive end, and we will take our first time out. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in North Carolina, no score yet between the Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds, but Nunes, it's been an energetic start for the road team.
Yeah, that's what we were saying you want to see if you're a Prowlers fan. Have the guys come out strong, physically. I'll tell you, this building is a tough place to play. It gets loud. The fans can be pretty nasty here. And the Thunderbirds build off of that like crazy. So if you're the Prowlers and you can get a little bit of an advantage there and get the jump on them first and try to keep this crowd suppressed for a little while, keep the emotions in your favor, that's what you want to start a game down here in Carolina.
They send Sam Merritt's line out here for the offensive zone face-off. He'll line up with Gus Ford to take the draw. And now we'll see if they can get their sticks down right, and they can. Scantlebury kicks it over to the corner. Scantlebury around the net, curling away from Kennedy. And it's pulled out by Grebenikov. Takes a big hit there from Sam Merritt. Delayed offside situation for the Prowlers. They touch up. Now here comes Schnapp back over to Kennedy. Joe Kennedy makes a move, put it towards the front of the net, steered back by Tolyu. Freeborn chasing after it up the wall. Graham continues it that direction. Now it's taken back by Ford. Up high, Kennedy had to recollect it, and he sauces it wide. Baker to Kennedy at the point. Put it on net, blocked by Freeborn, and he'll skate out with Scantlebury. Try to get back to Freeborn, bounces away. Freeborn on it. Out high, Schumacher, his shot, knocked down in front. Grebenikov skates out. He's one-on-one with Adam Hainsel. Grebenikov. Good hip check by Adam Hainsel. That was textbook. It pops out in front, and Tolyu sends it to the wall. Carolina fans want a penalty, but that was a perfectly executed hip check by Adam Hainsel.
Yep. If you get a little bit too low, sometimes they'll call a trip. I think he got pretty close there, but I think he got enough of the hip and not so much of his shins.
Keplinger back into the zone. Physical play coming from the Prowlers early. Saw the hit from Sam Merritt and then the hip check there from Adam Hainsel. I believe both of those were on Victor Grebenikov. The mayor, as they call him down here in Carolina, taking a beating early. Chartrand dumps it in. He'll go after it himself. He and Firth get there together. Now Foley and Bioni bump. Bioni up the wall. Comes out high. Parsons deflected. And that one goes to the corner. Foley was looking for a tip. And Babic went down hard. I think Boris Babic may have been selling it a little bit. Meanwhile, on the other end, it is offsides at the Prowlers line. And the Carolina fans are absolutely incensed that there was no call there. Nunes, what did you see as a goaltender?
Well, I always err on the side of the goalie for obvious reasons. I'm not sure really why they didn't call anything there for Foley, because in my opinion, intent really doesn't matter if the goalie's in the crease. Looked like he may have been a little bit outside the crease, but I think you still got to hold up. I'm not sure why the ref didn't put his hand up, maybe because it's the playoffs, but and again, intent or their interpretation of it may have played a factor there. I probably would have called that.
Now, I will say this for Evan Foley, just to play devil's advocate here, because I do agree with you, Nunes. I think there could have been a penalty there. However, Foley was certainly looking the other direction, so if you're going by intent, there was certainly no intent there, as Foley was looking for the deflection on the shot from the point. But if you're looking for intent, then certainly no penalty. But if intent isn't what you're looking for, then Foley certainly did run into Boris Babic. Babic did sell it a little bit, but you know that's what you have to do when you're a goaltender.
Yeah, a little bit sometimes.
Now the referees are chatting to the benches here, letting them know that the trash talk will not be accepted. There was a lot of chirping going on last night, as tonight's referees are Kenny Muniz and Brian Cole. The linesmen are Lucas Rieger and Terry Patzel. As Federley picks it up off the draw, Prowlers head in. It's gloved down, sits there in the slot, and Panacek able to rip it away. It's chipped into Prowler territory. Parsons first on it. Curls away from Panacek. It comes to the point, D to Peavy. His wrist shot goes wide. Panacek to the middle of the ice. Pastuka couldn't pull the trigger. Now Peavy does, and a good save by Tolyu. Peavy couldn't keep the puck in, so it's a delayed offside situation. Prowlers will get an easy exit. Graham up to Scantlebury fresh off the bench. Tucker Scantlebury ducks Salak, but Jan Salak took the puck away. And now Schnapp to Salak. He shoots, knocked down by Tolyu. Scantleberry the other way. Head up. He put it on net. That hit a body on the way through. It's chopped back to center. Minnie kept it away from Ford. They bump. It's poked along in front of the benches. And now Merritt back on the puck. Played it off the boards. Comes right to Baker. And a good play by Sam Merritt there, taking that pass away. It's dumped back into Prowler territory. 10:23 to go in the opening period. High pace, high physicality, and another big hit there. That was Gus Ford on Gino Mini. This right here is a playoff atmosphere, Nunes.
Yep, bodies are flying. Everybody's going end to end at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Great atmosphere from the crowd. They hate every bit of it. Can't ask for anything more.
Carolina gets the red line. Baker steps in. They do keep it onside. So Kennedy's rising shot catches the back glass. Minnie tried a little reverse hit on Keplinger. Now Devaney up to Chartrand. 9:40 left in period number one. Babick out to play it. Rims it around. Graham first on it. Down to Chartrand. Around the net. In front Devaney, and a good save by Babick. Sliding out. Certainly the best chance of the game for either side so far. Keplinger up the wall. Long lead pass on for Rowe. He has a step. Saved by Tolyu. And he has it in the glove. 9:14 to go in an energetic and physical first period. Everything you want from playoff hockey, you're seeing it here at the Annex. We'll take a break. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Winston-Salem, we are midway through period number one. Still no score between the Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds in a game two that has been energetic, it's been physical, and both teams have gotten plenty of shots on net, and Alex Johnson just ran off to the locker room.
I don't know what that was about, but he wanted to get out of here pretty quickly. Haven't seen him on the ice, actually, now that I think of it.
I think I did notice him once or twice, but he hasn't touched the puck. He certainly has been quiet. It's not very Alex Johnson-like. Oh, here he is, right back out. Looks like he has a massage gun in his hand, so maybe some tight muscles on the Prowlers bench. Of course, as we mentioned, they've spent the better part of the time between last night's game ending and tonight's game beginning on the bus. They pulled in late this morning, early afternoon. And actually, we haven't gotten a chance to go to the hotel yet, have the Prowlers. Certainly doesn't look like that on the ice as Dalton Jay walks in. Tried to feed it to the front of the net. It's blocked, and Batita back the other way. Batita gave it away. Comes back out to center. Graham takes Firth into the wall. Batita leaves it for Keplinger. All the way up to Rowe, poked away by Hainsel. Comes to Bioni, up to Batita, crosses the red line, gets the drop pass back, tried to one more over, and it was cut off by Schumacher. He skates it up. Scantleberry able to tip it in. He and Firth get there together. They overskate the puck, so Bioni works it up the wall to Salak. Jan Salak working on Parsons. He leaves it for Batita. Tried to drop pass to Rowe, but he had dropped his stick, and Lucas Rowe in some distress as he's getting off the ice. Looked like he was holding his wrist. We don't want to speculate, of course. Here's Stoya at the point. Wrist shot. Nobody in front of Babick, and he hangs on for a whistle with exactly 8 minutes to go in period number one. So an offensive zone face-off coming for the Prowlers. I will let you know if we see anything else about Lucas Rowe, who went off again, doubled over, not holding his stick to the bench. Susi goes off the glass. Foley kept it in. Chartrand chasing after it. Babic gave it right to Chartrand. He tried to turn it on net, and that hit a Thunderbird on the way through and flies out of play. That's exactly where you don't want to turn the puck over, just inside the blue line. If you're the Carolina Thunderbirds, and the Prowlers almost made them pay.
Especially if you're the goalie. He's looking at the blade of his stick after that. I don't think it was the tape job. I think it was the decision making there. Trying to sauce it over the first forechecker on your backhand while you're out by the bottom of the circle. Probably not the best idea.
To a side scrum behind the cage. Graham pulls it out. Graham being worked over there by Peavy. Peavy sends it up the boards. Pastuka dumps it out to Panacek. His shot goes wide. Not sure if Tully got a piece of it or not. Salak sends Pastuka in. Pastuka working on Johnson. And Alex Johnson muscles him off the puck. And then he looks like he took a stick up high. The arm will go up, and then Pastuka threw a hit on Alex Johnson. The whistles have blown. I don't think Johnson heard it, but that will gather a crowd. And it looks like the first power play of this game will go to the Prowlers, and that's certainly not what these Carolina fans want to hear.
Nope. Johnny got a stick up high, or it was at least close enough for him to throw his head back. They're going to call that, I would say, almost every time, even in the playoffs. The high sticking is a tough one to ignore. There's usually not too many degrees of high sticking. You either get a stick up in the face or you don't.
Well, the Prowlers missed on a lot of power play opportunity chances last night, especially when that game was still close. So you think this is a big one for the Prowlers to get the first goal here on the man advantage.
Yeah, and you can see what the Thunderbirds are trying to do here. Schnapp in particular trying to go Johnny into doing something stupid to even the penalties up.
Here's Stoya, walks in, fires, and he missed it high. Matt Stoya has that wicked shot from the point on this power play. He couldn't really unleash it last night. He got a good look there. Scantleberry digs it out, gives to Johnson. Stoya, one more, over to Freeborn. Liam Freeborn, down low to Foley, into the slot towards Scantleberry, and it's poked out of the zone. Minute 27 left to go on the penalty to Pastuka. 6:30 left in period number one. As Schnapp takes it away at center, chips it around Stoya. Now Jacob Schnapp just trying to delay. And Kennedy had his pocket picked. Prowlers go the other way. Scantleberry shoots, and he missed it wide. And then Schnapp ran over Babic with a little bit of help from Matt Stoya. Fans want a penalty, they won't get it. Prowlers switching up units with 50 seconds to go on the man advantage. Here's Devaney. Head up, he'll give to Federley at the point, back to Devaney, all the way across Jay. Wines looking for Graham at the side of the net. It was blocked by Tucker Firth. Federley on for Devaney. Salak comes off the bench, tries to disrupt, but Merritt takes it back for the Prowlers. Graham below the goal line, 25 on the power play. Devaney shoots, scores! Joe Devaney on the power play, and the Prowlers have the first goal in game number 2.
Great shot there by Devs. You saw Dalton Jay try to streak in on the back door. I think Babic probably saw him out of the corner of his eye. Looked to me like he got a little bit under square there, flattened out, put his left pad down, opened up the 5-hole. Looked like Dev picked it up right there along the ice.
And for Joe Devaney, who finished with 30 goals in the regular season for the Prowlers, second on the team, he gets his first point of the playoffs. And it's a big goal. As you know, a big key for the Prowlers was to score first in tonight's game. They are 14-5-2 in the regular season when scoring first, much better than the 14-19-2 they were in the regular season when allowing the first goal. Is a big key for Matt Graham's club, and they had that first goal. They searched for more. Frank Schumacher gets it deep. It's Foley. Now Chartrand, but his pass to the point cut off by Keplinger. We're approaching 5 minutes to go in the first period. Keplinger, toe drag shot, hit the post! Right where the crossbar and the post meet, that close to tying this game and sending this building into a frenzy. Ford sidesteps a hit from Adam Hainsel. Those two tangled up away from the puck. Meanwhile, the puck is in the Thunderbirds' end, and it's touched on for Keplinger. Dangles around Stoya, and a good play by Merritt to keep Josh Keplinger from getting a good shot away. Now Hainsel as Baker is down. Dawson Baker tried to throw a hit on Matt Stoya, and that didn't work for him. And he's a little slow to get up. Keplinger saucing it all the way across for Firth. He backhands it in. Thunderbirds in the midst of a change. 4:04 to go in period number 1. They're certainly letting them play tonight. Merritt dumps it in. Babick plays it, gives it to Firth. Long lead pass on for Schnapp. He tips it out to center. Minnie sends it back the other way. Graham. Scantleberry back up to Matt Graham. All the way down for Scantleberry. Nice move to get out of the corner. To the front of the net, they jam away. And Babick able to cover up for a face-off. And some more extracurriculars as Hussey and Graham going at it. Schnapp trying to get involved. Scantleberry also in there. And the rough stuff continuing tonight. We saw a lot of it last night as well.
These two teams bring out the best and worst in each other. Schnapp right in the middle of it again.
Well, the remainder of period number 1, when we come back, you're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Freeborn cutting to the net. Save, rebound, score!
Every goal.
Back to Jay. Wrist shot, he scores!
Every save.
Going the other way, Papandrea. Saved by Hoffman. The rebound. Another one.
Every hit.
Good hip check.
Every
Fires, and he scores!
single
Michael Haskins, cutback, heading with another good shot, and then a left. Oh, boy.
game.
Cardinal poked away by Hoffman, and the Prowlers win it.
The Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
Back here in North Carolina, we're a late first period, and then the Prowlers with a 1-0 lead on the Carolina Thunderbirds. Austin Federley and John Batita having conversations with the referees in front of the penalty boxes. It should be 5-on-5. I don't think there's anybody in either box. The faceoff will be in the offensive zone for the Prowlers, and a rowdy crowd here in North Carolina has been making their presence felt.
They always do here. It seems like they see the laundry more than anything else out there. Carolina could do one thing and they're a hero, and the opposition can do the exact same thing back, and this crowd wants to take them out back and beat them up. But so far it's been a great game. I like that the refs are keeping it pretty even as far as penalties go. For all the calls that the crowd thinks they've missed against the Prowlers, there's only been one penalty. It's not like they're calling everything one way here.
Merritt and Hussey in on the faceoff. 3:33 left in period number 1. Gino Mini plays it out to center. Took a hit from Schnapp. And then Freeborn dumps it in. Kennedy plays it around to Butita. Crowd reacting to any body contact the Thunderbirds put on the Prowlers. And Minnie pokes it away from Schnapp. Thought we might have seen a hit there from Schnapp on Minnie, but Chino Minnie using that long reach to avoid the contact. Here's Minnie back with it. He flips it high and out. Lands at the feet of Grebennikov. Now Scantleberry takes it away. But Grebennikov won't let him through. Hussey recovers the puck. Scantleberry knocks it down with the glove. Sends it right back into Thunderbird territory. 2:40 to go in the opening period. Kennedy converged on by a couple of Prowlers. He was able to escape the zone though. Hussey back with it. Over to Kennedy again. Pastuca turns up ice. Hussey poked off his stick, and now Dan Chartrand the other way, surrounded by black jerseys. He just took a shot that was blocked by Grebennikov. Bioni overskated, so Joe Devaney takes it. Devaney curling away from Bioni. And now it's Graham. Up high, Hansel. D-to-D pass to Schumacher. That was slightly impeded by Pastuca. Prowlers dump it right back in, though. Minute 55 left to go in period number 1. Shots on goal right now favoring the Prowlers 8-6. They have the only goal of the game. It's a Joe Devaney power play goal in the afternoon matinee of playoff hockey in the FPHL tonight. Stoya turns the corner, puts it on, knocked down by Babbitt, and he will cover up. 1:33 to go in period number 1. Doesn't feel like there's been more than 15 total shots in this game, but it might just feel like that because of all the other action we've been getting.
I think so, and I think the other part of it is that a lot of these shots have been high-grade scoring chances.
Austin Federley is heading off to the locker room, chased down by Prowlers trainer Bridget Smith. We will monitor that situation as it progresses. Now Stoya being separated from a Thunderbird before this face-off. Ford wins it away from Merritt. Parsons able to keep it in. Merritt looking for Scantleberry. It was jumped by Firth, but he played it into his own man. And now whistles blow. And Parsons getting some shoves from Baker. I believe Brian Parsons is getting the original penalty because the whistles blew when the Prowlers got the puck. But Baker and Parsons having words. Tucker Scantleberry would have had a grade A chance as he was walking in.
Yeah, I was afraid that they were going to call it against Tucker on a slash or a hook when he stripped the puck, but that wouldn't have been even close to in line with how they've called the game so far. So for the referee's sake, I'm at least happy that it's Parsons going to the box and not Tucker Scantleberry. I didn't see what Pars did. I was watching the play down at the other end of the ice.
It was something between Parsons and Scantleberry back in the Prowlers zone while the puck was turned over in Carolina territory. Officially, it's 2 minutes for slashing against Brian Parsons, and the first opportunity for the Carolina power play with 1:24 to go in the first period. Carolina's power play also was over in the first game of this series. Keplinger. Pastuca wants the one-timer in the slides that's worked up to Kennedy. His shot, kick save by Tolyu, and then Pastuca rose the rebound high over the glass and out of play. I think Tolyu may have gotten a piece of that second one too.
It was either him up high or Shuey or Heinzel in front of the net. Got a stick on puck, deflected it up and over. I'm not sure.
Minute 5 left in period number 1. The penalty will carry over to the second period if the Thunderbirds don't score. And it comes to the wall. Comes to Kennedy up high. Kennedy gets it back from Panacek. Gives it to him. Panacek. They continue to play catch. Kennedy winds to Panacek. Back towards Kennedy. He has to knock it down. Kennedy settles, wrists it towards the corner. That's where Keplinger is. Keplinger tried to get it deep. Merritt able to find it and send it the length of the ice. 30 seconds to go in period number 1. As Chartrand with a steal in the offensive end, trying to muscle off Panacek. Dan Chartrand just behind the net. And he just wasted some time there. Great play by Dan Chartrand. Thunderbirds looking for one last rush with 14. Salak into the offensive end, taken away by Foley. And that goes all the way down the ice. Babic keeps things moving. Keplinger just dumps it in. And that is going to do it for period number 1 here from the Annex. Boy, we have seen everything. Plenty of hits, plenty of action, but only one goal, a power play goal belonging to Joe Devaney. And that is your score so far, a 1-0 lead for the Port Huron Prowlers and a much better first period.
It's exactly what you want if you're the Prowlers. High energy, you know this place is a snake pit when you get here. The crowd, the other team, the noise. Tough day of travel, tough night of travel for both teams. And you come out ahead 1-0. Pretty good, pretty even, right? 1-1 on the penalty score sheet. That's what you want if you're the Prowlers.
Shots on goal in that opening period favored the Prowlers 9-7. And once again, it is 1-0 Port Huron on the strength of Joe Devaney's first of the playoffs. We will have some intermission coverage coming up for you later, but first, the Commissioner's Cup playoffs have begun, so get your gear to cheer your team to a championship. Located on the west end of McMorran Arena, the Prowlers team store is open every home game all season long, featuring t-shirts, sweatshirts, mini sticks, and more. Playoff shirts and rally towels are available now. Rep your team in style with gear from the Prowlers team store. 1-0 Prowlers through an entertaining 20 minutes of play in Winston-Salem. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. back here in Winston-Salem. We're through 20 minutes of play, and it's the Prowlers with a 1-0 lead on the Carolina Thunderbirds. Will Wiggleman and Joe Noonan here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. Well, the Prowlers had their backs against the wall, and they came out with about as much fire and energy as you could.
They really did. Their bodies were flying around on both sides. Puck was going up and down the ice. It was fast hockey. It was tough hockey. The refs let the guys play. It was great to see.
Well, there was one penalty called early in that, a little bit later in that period, I should say, and it was a high-sticking penalty that was drawn by Alex Johnson. It went against Yuri Pastuka, and the Prowlers went to work on the power play, and it was Joe Devaney opening the scoring.
Yeah, we saw it happen. We went over it when the goal was scored. It looked like Devs may have been looking for Dalton Jay in the back post, and maybe Babick moved a little bit early there. My first goalie coach, kind of an old school guy, he used to tell me the most dangerous guy in the room is the guy with bullets in his gun. And what he meant by that was you got to stay square to the puck, even if that passing threat is there, and you got to fight the urge to cheat the pass, because a goal like that can happen. It went on the ice. That's one he probably should have had.
Now, as far as power play goes, the Prowlers will have to kill off 36 seconds of a Carolina man advantage when we come back for this second period. And that's a chance for the Thunderbirds to get this crowd really going, which they were very, very loud early on.
Yeah, they were. And that's what you expect coming into a place like this. Not even a place like this. That's what you expect in this building every time you come and play here. It's only elevated in the playoffs. This is a tough place to play. An emotional team, and a team that can get front running if you give them the offensive chances on the power play especially. They have such a talented top-heavy roster that they can do damage. 36 seconds is plenty of time for them to even it up. Prowlers will have to be on their game when they come out for the second.
But we talked about that physicality, the energy of that period. Some great hits from both sides, including the hip check from Adam Haynes on Viktor Grebennikov, which was probably one of the best hits that I've seen this season from the Prowlers.
I'd say it's the second best, only coming in second behind Frank Schumacher's hip check against Motor City, which actually shattered the glass.
You know, that one was a lot of fun for me until I had to talk for about 20 minutes while they fixed the pane of glass. But yeah, you're right. That was a great hit from Frank Schumacher. He's certainly a guy that can lay the body. We're about 90 seconds away from puck drop in period number 2. Nunes, what do the Prowlers have to do to continue this momentum and go into the third with the lead?
Well, what you've got to expect is for Carolina to come out a little bit stronger, a little bit hungrier. This crowd is going to be eager for action, positive action for the Thunderbirds. So if you're the Prowlers, it's not good enough to just come out with the same effort you had in the first period, because if you stay the same and they elevate, all of a sudden you're behind. So you got to match that, if not exceed what Carolina comes out with. And other than that, you're controlling your emotions in this tough environment.
Well, we will get set for second period action coming up in under a minute here on Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Playoff hockey, it has been tonight. One of the most entertaining games of the season, despite just one goal, but plenty of action, plenty of hits on both sides, and plenty of nastiness from both teams. We did see Austin Federley go off to the locker room late in that opening period, followed by Bridget Smith, the trainer. He is out there on the ice to start this period on the PK for the Prowlers. He's out there with Sam Merritt, Frank Schumacher, and Adam Hainsel, as the Prowlers have 36 seconds of power play time to kill. As soon as they drop the puck here for period number 2, the Thunderbirds have sent out a power play unit of Pastuka, Panacek, Kennedy, Ford, and I believe that's Keplinger on the far side, lined up next to Austin Federley. Puck is down. We're underway for period number 2, and I'm sorry, that is not Josh Keplinger, that is Jan Salak, number 16 in black. He has the puck now up the left wing side. Working on Schumacher. Gives it to Pastuka, back to Salak. Jan Salak working down the wall. It's fed up high to Kennedy. Panacek back to Kennedy. Panacek again. Final seconds ticking off the power play as that seeing eye shot sticks to Tolyu. He hangs on for a whistle, and that's Gus Ford, a very dangerous player. He's able to get that shot through a lot of traffic.
Yeah, that's a tough shot to save because as a goalie, you start up high, right? And it's harder to see through the bodies in front of you, the torsos in front of you from your eyes than it is for the puck to make it through everybody's legs. So you're at a disadvantage there.
Quick shot by Salak off the draw, and Tolyu coming up with his best save of the night. That was a well-worked face-off play by Panacek to Salak, and Brian Tolyu kicked out that right pad. We are back to 5-on-5 as Chartrand chips it around Grebennikov and chases after it. Grebennikov overskates it. All three players out over there overskated the puck. Now Devaney in on the forecheck. Prowlers work it out. Johnson gets it deep. Grebennikov first on the puck, plays it to Kennedy. He starts a rush. Pastuka has Kennedy going to the net. He'll give the trailer Salak. He scores! Jan Salak has tied the game for Carolina. We are knotted up at 1 with 18:38 to go in the second period.
Well, you see what Carolina likes to do there. They come down the ice, a little bit of an odd man rush. They come down with speed. They back the D off with a good net drive. Looked like Tally may have gotten caught a little bit deep in his crease, not terribly. Probably want to go heels at the top of the crease there rather than toes at the top of the crease. That's nitpicking. That was a good shot. But that's what you wanted to see if you're a Carolina fan. Get back to their game, which is speed and offense. Got a chance for Port Huron to respond right here. Get back to work.
So a quick goal in period number 2 sends the crowd to its feet. And the Prowlers will look to respond. Graham couldn't center it to Jay, who's cut off by Firth. Stoya just able to keep that puck in. It drops in the corner. Graham first after it. Out to Jay. Waiting for help off the bench. He'll cycle it to Graham. Comes back across this side. Now Rowe up the right wing. Gets to Keplinger. He shoots in and out of the glove of Brian Tolyu, and he'll jump on top of it and cover up for a whistle. 17:27 to go in period number 2, and Jan Salak has tied the game with his first goal of the playoffs. Joseph Kennedy and Yuri Pastuka picking up the assist on Salak's goal. Pastuka had a 3-point night last night on a goal and 2 assists, but was left off the 3 stars of the night. Merritt and Ford in on the face-off. Ford wins it back to Firth at the point. He shoots, and it's stopped by Tolyu. Pops out towards the middle of the ice. Puck bouncing around, and the Prowlers able to settle it. Schumacher works it in. Couldn't dangle around Firth. Flips it high and out, all the way down. Hansel first on it. Ford kept it alive. Baker and Hansel come together. The puck got through both of them, and Schumacher first on the puck. Williams into the offensive end. Put it on net, steered away by Babick. Johnson gets it deep. 17-11 left in the second period. Firth up to Ford, up the right wing side. Couldn't get past the brick wall of Gino Mini. And Devaney, one touches it on for Chartrand. He couldn't get that puck though. Prowlers trying to work it back the other way. Instead pops out for Schnapp. Working on Mini, he shoots, saved by Tolyu, the rebound. And that one was blocked by Johnson. And Johnson also gets a piece of Baker's attempt at the net. Puck still in the corner. Mini up the boards. Foley tried to chop it along. And now the puck comes to the middle of the ice, but offsides is the call, and the Prowlers get away with one.
Oh, man. They stole another one from the Thunderbirds. I don't trust these refs.
Peter Panacek was all by himself in front of Brian Tolyu, but it was offsides at the line, as I believe it was Vinny Susi trying to keep that puck in, and he just could not. Graham and Panacek in on the faceoff. Prowlers exhaling here. They are being outshot in the period 6-1 so far, and we're not 4 minutes into it. Panacek lifts it out. Salak at center, harassed from behind by Jay. Jan Salak pushes it on goal, and Tolyu clamps the glove on top. A good strong play from Matt Stoya to push Jan Salak away and keep him from getting to the crease.
Absolutely, that's a good lesson for kids at home. Stoya didn't look down at the puck. He looked right at his chest, made sure he had the center of his body lined up with the center of the attacking player. Kept him to the outside. Even if there's a shot there, that's one that you're willing to give up.
Schumacher up to Scantleberry. He gets the red line, cross corner dump. Everybody overskated that puck. Luckily for Carolina, it was Panacek who didn't overskate it. Hainsel tried to work it out, blocked by Pastuca. Salak gets past Hainsel, tried to center. Pastuca missed on the shot. Hainsel tried to pass the freeboard in his skates. Panacek winds one up, and Schumacher ate it up with his stick, and it flies out of play. And couple of extra shots after the whistle from a couple of guys involving Panacek. .36 left to go in period number 2. Foley and Hussey will be in on the defensive zone, face-off to Brian Tolyu's right. It's won back by Carolina. Devaney able to poke it ahead. He's charging after it. Babick all the way out to play it. He gets it out of the zone. Foley put it back on net. Babick with the save. That wouldn't have counted even if it went in, as Devaney was still offsides. But you never know sometimes. You might be able to get away with one like that. There's Kennedy. And now it comes all the way to the near side. Chopped back into Thunderbird territory. 15:05 to go in the period. Chartrand almost stole that cleanly. Instead, Johnson has to dump it back in again. Kennedy takes it from Babick, works it up to Rowe. Tried to feed all the way across. That caught Dalton Jay in the face under his visor. He's checking his pace for blood, and that's just a bit of an accidental situation there. Dalton Jay's a tough guy. He'll head back to the bench. We will take a timeout. 1-1 our score from Winston-Salem. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in North Carolina, it is 1-1 between the Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds. We've played 5 minutes and 14 seconds of second period time, and Jan Salak has the only goal of the frame. And that is the tying goal. Shots in this period so far, 8-2 in favor of Carolina, as the Thunderbirds have come out of the locker room with a vengeance. Merritt's been kicked out of this face-off, and he's not happy about it. So Austin Federley will come in to take it. Dalton Jay back there, out there on the ice after taking that puck to the face before the TV timeout. So he seems to be all right. Bioni wrists it wide. Now Parsons. Taken away by Baker. Cycles it towards Schnapp. Got through him. Now Brian Parsons was knocked down in the middle of the ice. Play continues as Ford comes out in front. Good save by Tulliu. No rebound. And now Schnapp wants a piece of Brian Parsons, even though he's already engaged with Matt Snoya. Schnapp wants to grab as many as he wants, as many as he can here. Schnapp and Snoya still locked up with a linesman in between.
I don't think Schnapp really wants a piece of anybody. I think he wants somebody to try to get a piece of him, and then he can draw a penalty. There's plenty of guys out there that would be willing to go.
Well, Snoya escorted back to his bench. Schnapp will stay out for this face-off, and now we have more chatting between Baker and Parsons. Those two certainly have a history in this game. In that first period, Baker was the one who drew the slashing penalty on Parsons. That was away from the play. Everybody has settled down and everybody back to their respective benches. We get set for the face-off in Prowler territory, won cleanly by Evan Foley. Chartrand works it up to Devaney. It's taken away by Firth, and Panacek puts down Frank Schumacher on the reverse hit. Schumacher did his job, though, stopped the rush from moving up ice. Firth holds behind the net, steps out. Worked up to Pastuca, taken back by Devaney. And now Chartrand into the slot, and his shot blocked by Tucker Firth. Devaney back on net from the corner. Babick didn't know where the rebound was. It comes to the point to Schumacher. Foley up high to Schumacher. He's able to keep it deep momentarily. Now the stretch pass on for Panacek. Panacek pulls up to Pastuca. One more move, taken down, and he pushed it just wide. Tulliu may have gotten a piece of that one.
Through the legs and wide. That is my favorite save in the book.
That's how they draw it up. As Devaney launches it down the ice, bouncing, and underneath the glove of Babick was Chartrand and Firth coming right down on him. 13-12 to go in period number 2. Some offensive zone time for the Prowlers, but a dangerous opportunity for Yuri Pastuca the other direction.
Yeah, you could see there on the back check by Schumacher with Heinzel in coverage. They got a little bit double coverage coming across the blue line. There was some good communication there. Shuey was pointing for Heinzel to take the puck carrier so he could pick up the trailer because Adam already had his toes pointed up ice.
This is the kind of insight you can only get when you have a player on the broadcast, and we thank Joe Noonan for his service all season long. Sam Merritt will be in on the face-off as they're sending Blake Peavy back to the bench. Maybe a bit of a late change for Carolina they were trying to get in. The referee said absolutely not. Minnie winds and fires, deflected, save, rebound, Scantleberry, another save from Babick. They put it out in front, and Babick clamps the glove on top. A little bit of chaos and confusion in front of the Thunderbirds net. Prowlers get some good shots on Boris Babick. Tied up at the circle. Freeborn able to kick it down. And Johnson through traffic, stopped by Babick. Freeborn on the rebound. Up high Johnson again. He'll get it deep. Scantleberry behind the net. Played it off of Babick on the post. Now Scantleberry again shoots. Another save by Boris Babick. Putting on a show on this shift is the Thunderbirds netminder. A two-a-side scrum on the boards. Freeborn able to pull it out. He gives it to Minnie. Now Scantleberry. Working on Susie. His shot stopped by Babick. He'll gather in the rebound for a whistle. Good pressure from the Prowlers, but Boris Babick getting it done between the pipes. 12:20 to go in period 2.
We talked about it last night. He's got long legs when he gets down in the butterfly. He's got a pretty wide flare. Does a good job covering up the low part of the net. but that was a good shift for the Prowlers overall. They got a flurry of shots on him, cycled it well, got some good momentum going in their favor now.
Port Huron and Carolina both making full changes. And Graham with a good face-off win. Parsons tried to put it on net, partially blocked. Kennedy couldn't get it. The pass that he wants, he skates it out. Now Joe Kennedy with a head of steam, lost the puck, and Parsons takes him into the wall. Batita up high to Keplinger, wrists it on, and Tully has it in the glove. But for Carolina, that is an offensive zone face-off, exactly what they need, as before that shot, the Prowlers had the last 5 shots on net. Exactly 12 minutes to go in the second period. Evan Foley's line coming out for the Prowlers. He'll take the face-off against John Batita. Well, at least he was scheduled to. But the Thunderbirds getting a late change in. And instead it will be Peter Panacek coming in to face Evan Foley on the draw. Comes to the wall, Stoya first on it, plays it off the glass, and Kennedy gets it back at center. Kennedy off the glass and around. Stoya up the boards. Panacek down the wall. Parsons on it. Now Salak digs it out. Salak around the net. A Thunderbird down in front. Here's Salak to the forehand. Where is it? I think it went off of Tully and ended up in the near side corner. Salak back on the puck. Panacek taken away by the Prowlers, but the arm goes up. A slashing penalty is being indicated, and now Pastuca's going after Matt Stoya, and we'll see if that evens things up, and it looks like it might. The original call was going to be a slash on the Prowlers. And actually, Matt Stoya is going to the box as well. Stoya and Parsons heading to the Prowlers penalty box.
I would think Stoya's got to be an offsetting penalty here. I would be shocked if there wasn't a Thunderbird going to the box with him. There wasn't enough there to only take one.
A 5-on-3 coming for the Carolina Thunderbirds for a full 2 minutes. Matt Stoya and Brian Parsons are the only 2 in the penalty box. Nobody from Carolina was taken through all that. It's Parsons for slashing, Stoya for the unsportsmanlike. And a huge opportunity here for Carolina to blow this game wide open, tied at 1. And off the face-off, Kennedy just able to keep it in at the line, but Ford mishandled it. That puck does come out, and the Thunderbirds play it. One linesman said no, the other linesman said yes, and we have a whistle, and the linesmen will come together to talk about it. It was the linesman on the far side next to the puck was Lucas Rieger. He said no, he waved no to Ford, but he was off the line. The linesman on the line was on the near side. That's Terry Patzel. He said offsides. The Thunderbirds played it, and that was the whistle. Carolina right back in. Ford up top gives to Kennedy. Back to Gus Ford. Walks in, fires off of Tully and wide. Kennedy again to Ford. Baker back to Kennedy. Kennedy winds, gives to Baker, trying to one-touch pass it back, and Schumacher with a good stick gets it out. 50 seconds gone in the penalties to Brian Parsons and Matt Stoya. Kennedy working on Hansel. Comes up to Keplinger, now to Ford with space, walks and shoots, knocked down in front. I think that hit Schnapp.
A great block.
Baker over to Ford. One more move, still stick handling, and he stick handles it away from himself. 45 seconds left on the power play, and the pass back to Ford out of his reach. Schnapp heading off the ice. He's not feeling too good after getting hit with that shot a little while ago. Out to Kennedy. He shoots, missed it wide. Keplinger up to the top, down to Ford. Tried to play it across, and Frank Schumacher got a piece of it. Now he's harassing Kennedy, and he'll force Joe Kennedy all the way back into his own end. Long lead pass on for Batista, 15 seconds left on the power plays. Ford with a shot off of Graham's stick and out of play. Stick taps for the Prowlers PK. They have 11 seconds left on it, and we will get it to you when we come back. You are watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
"11 seconds left to go on the 5-on-3 for Carolina. Matt Stoya and Brian Parsons set to come out of the penalty boxes. One shot so far for Carolina on this power play, and the Prowlers PK has been phenomenal.
They've been doing a great job funneling from the middle out, trying to clog up that shooting lane, while the Carolina players are cycling up high between their shooters, trying to open it up. And it was a great stick-on puck against the league's MVP, Gus Ford, by Matt Graham.
Susie at the top, feeds it over. Quick shot off of Tolyu, and he makes one more save. They can't keep it in. We're back to 5-on-5, and the biggest penalty kill of the season is finally over for the Prowlers. Exhale, Prowlers fans. That was a long 2 minutes. 2 shots on that power play for Carolina. Prowlers looking to get back on the attack. Babick plays it away from Scantleberry. Salak with under 9 to go in the period. Played over to Pastuca. Up the right wing side. Yuri Pastuca put it on net. Tolyu has it, and he'll hang on for a whistle. 8:47 to go in period number 2. And Nunes, I mentioned just 2 shots on a full 2 minute 5-on-3 for Carolina. Maybe a little overthinking there. That happens sometimes on 5-on-3s.
Yeah, sometimes when you have a 2-man advantage like that, there's so little pressure when you have the puck that it gets you in the mindset of looking for that perfect opportunity because you're not forced to do anything immediately.
Pastuca's shot off the draw was blocked by traffic. And it comes over to Peavy. Led it up to Panacek. Now Salak collects it on the left wing boards. Good play by Matt Stoy to lift his stick. Williams plays it into Thunderbird territory. Susie back out. Here comes Salak. Salak curling away from Parsons. Up high, Peavy's shot was blocked. And now Stoya. Crowd wanted a penalty away from the play. It won't come. Graham into the offensive end. Matt Graham all the way around to the rep. And Babick got the pad to the post. And he'll cover up for a whistle. 8:01 to go in period number 2. And Boris Babick with a good save on a Matt Graham wraparound try.
Yeah, it was a pretty good save. I wouldn't go nuts over it. But Graham's a righty coming down the right wing, which means he has the momentum going in his favor because he's moving into his forehand. He can shoot it or wrap it at any time, so it was a good job by Babick to get over to his post.
It'll be Sam Merritt in the face-off circle against Brendan Hussey. Well, at least it was scheduled to be. Instead, it will be Lucas Rowe, the late right-in, and Merritt wins it back. Freeborn looking for Merritt in the slot. Didn't get there. Schumacher kicks it back in, but it flies out of play. So the faceoff will come outside of the Thunderbird zone. 7:51 to go in the second period. This time it will be Merritt and Hussey. And this time Hussey's able to win it back. Scantlebury causing some havoc. It's able to be pushed forward by Firth. Now in the slot, turnaround try by Keplinger, blocked by Schumacher on the way through. Freeborn able to skate it out, but the puck danced too far ahead of him. Puck still bouncing right back to Liam Freeborn's stick. Couldn't find Scantlebury though. And Tucker Firth takes it back for Carolina. 7:20 to go in period number 2. Johnson steps into it. Here comes Alex Johnson with a try. That was blocked. Minnie plays it up to Foley, enters the offensive zone, steps around Bioni, has a stick tap across, and that was Freeborn, but the pass was in his feet. Hussey curling away from pressure. He'll just dump it out. Minnie able to stop it, put it back in. Chartrand dumps it all the way. Firth and Devaney come together. Now Hussey off the boards. Devaney takes it away. There's Joe Devaney working behind the net. Devaney still on the puck. He'll cycle it for Chartrand. Now Foley. Couldn't center. Devaney picks it up. Devaney up high. Trying to go over to Parsons. It was blocked out of the zone by Rowe. Now Brian Parsons with some speed. All the way across looking for Devaney. Now Stoya winds and fires. And Babbitt with the save, sliding all the way out of his crease. Keplinger harassed by Chartrand. And Dan Chartrand able to get it deep. Under 6 to play in period number 2. Still tied at 1. It's dumped all the way down to Prowler ice. Icing is the call. Great pressure from Port Huron on that shift.
Yep, the guys are going after that big 5-on-3 kill. Got a little rest for a couple of extra guys and the guys that aren't on the penalty kill typically. So they came out. They've got some good cycling going. Got good communication. You heard the beaver tail tap there from Liam Freeborn on the back post. Foley listened to him. He's just a little bit off the mark with the pass, but overall, really good pressure.
Ford able to tip it out on for Rowe. Working on Parsons. Lucas Rowe, the backhand save by Tulliu. And the rebound pushed behind the net. Graham, as Ford and Stoya are tied up. Those two shove each other away. Now here's Jay. He shoots off a stick and goes high. That was Grebenikov who got the stick on the shot from the Prowlers, leading goal scorer in the regular season. Butita couldn't dangle around Stoya. Butita still on the puck. Now Ford tried to center, cut off by Federley. He gets it out, and Kennedy plays it at center. 5 minutes to go in the second period. Kennedy put it out in front, and Tulliu will gather it in. Enough of that. He'll cover up for a face-off. 1-1 hour score with under 5 to play in period number 2. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Freeborn cutting to the net. Save, rebound, score!
Every goal,
Back to Jay. Wrist shot, he scores!
every save,
Going the other way, Papandrea, saved by Hoffman, the rebound, another one!
every hit,
Good hip check!
every
Fires, and he scores!
single
Michael Haskell, cut back, heading with another good shot, and then a left! Oh boy!
game.
Cardinal, poked away by Hoffman, and the Prowlers win it!
The Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
.456 to go in period number 2. We're still tied up at 1 here at the Annex. Will Wiggleman and Joe Noonan with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. And Noon's a couple of good shifts there by the Prowlers, and then on the other end, Brian Tollew just trying to end play and give his team another whistle.
He's done a good job of that all night. I think he hasn't kicked out too many rebounds. He's gotten some key whistles like that last one there. See if Carolina runs anything off this draw.
Butita tried to chop it on net, gloved down by Schumacher. And Frank Schumacher plays it up the wall. That hit Freeborn and stayed in. Hainzel makes a pass to Scantleberry. He's in with Freeborn. Scantleberry trying to dangle, and that wouldn't work on Joe Kennedy. Kennedy into the zone. Thunderbirds have numbers. Baker fires. He scores! A counter-attack for Carolina, and Dawson Baker puts the T-Birds on top 2-1. It was a turnover just inside the Thunderbirds' blue line, and the Birds went back with numbers. It was a 4-on-2, the drop pass to Dawson Baker, and he makes no mistake, as he had 18 goals in the regular season, and now he picks up his first point of the postseason.
Gotta give him credit on that one. He shed a body check right around the red line up against the boards by Sam Merritt. Got himself back up the ice, and then they ran a textbook 3-on-2 play there. Got the open shot from pretty close in with the D backing off on the net drive. Didn't miss his mark.
4:15 to go in period number 2. The Thunderbirds have their first lead of the game, as Dawson Baker's goal from Joe Kennedy and Gus Ford makes it 2-1. Is the second T-Birds goal of this second period. Panacek and Federley in on the face-off. Pastuca lined up right behind Panacek, looking for the quick shot. And now both Panacek and Federley kicked out of the draw. Actually, Federley and Panacek will both be allowed back in. So just a little bit of musical chairs. Comes back to Pastuca. He fanned on the shot. Susi keeps it deep. Salak working in the corner on Federley. Johnson takes it away. Tries to work up the boards. Salak knocked down. Joe Devaney takes the puck. Long lead pass on for Chartrand. Outside try, saved by Babbitt. The rebound by Devaney was blocked on the way through by Blake Peavy. Babbitt had no idea where that puck was.
No, I think he misread it, or it got deflected on the way in. He turned his wrist early on his blocker. It actually hit the sidewall on the inside of the glove and popped out into the middle of the ice there. I don't think the defenseman knew where it was either. He's just in the right place at the right time.
Chartrand's stick was tied up. He couldn't get to that loose puck. Now Graham makes a play at center. It's dumped in. Babbitt tried to play it away from Matt Graham. Graham was ready for it, tried to bank it off of Boris Babbitt because he was going back to the net. That didn't work. Sam Williams takes the puck out. And now Salak. T-Birds can't get it out. Salak has it again. Susi rims it all the way around this side. Parsons keeps it in for the Prowlers. Jay towards the net, blocked on the way through. Now Stoya at the point. His shot hit a stick. Pastuca flips it up in the air. It lands right back on his stick, and he'll dump it in with 2:37 to go in period number 2. Stoya, long lead pass up to Merritt. He's able to get a touch on it. T-Birds try and turn it the other way. Now Merritt gloves it down at center, but he overskated it. Puck still bouncing around. Hussey able to get enough control. Here he comes. Good save by Tollew, steering it to the corner. Stoya up to Merritt. And Hussey puts a whack on Scantleberry. The T-Birds about to get a penalty. As the arm is up in the air, Brendan Hussey is going to the penalty box, and a big chance for the Prowlers. They'll go to the power play with exactly 2 minutes left in period number 2, although now Tucker Scantlebury is being escorted to the box, so we'll see if this evens things up. So both Hussey and Scantlebury are in the box. I believe the original call was coming to Hussey, though.
Well, that's what I thought too, but it's possible that the Prowlers just thought that and the arm was for both guys. I honestly don't know what a ref does to try to differentiate between just the one team getting the penalty or it being offsetting so that the goalie doesn't just vacate the net. However, Liam Freeborn carried the puck up the ice, so you should have thought that it was a delayed call.
So Tucker Scantlebury is getting a 2-minute penalty for illegal equipment. Hussey gets 2 for holding, Scantlebury for illegal equipment. I'm sure we will never find out exactly what that is about, but that is the penalty, and we'll have 4-on-4 for the final 2 minutes of period number 2.
Well, what I saw there was that Tuck's helmet came off, so if they're saying that he didn't immediately start heading off the ice towards the bench, if he kept engaging, which I think he did, but he was locked up, there was a holding call against Hussey. I don't know. That seems to be a tough one to me.
Well, the Prowlers did get a goal at 4-on-4 last night, although it was Tucker Scantlebury who scored it. He's the one in the box. 90 seconds to go in the period as Grebennikov leaves it for Kennedy. Grebennikov through center into the offensive end, drops it for Ford. His shot goes wide, caroms all the way around the boards to Devaney. He and Keplinger come together, and Joe Devaney escapes with the puck. Schumacher head up, looking for Devaney. Firth jumped that one, and here comes Keplinger back in. The drop pass to Panacek, to Keplinger, back in, big save by Tolyu. We've hit the final minute of the period. Now Bioni has to chase after that puck, gets there just ahead of Devaney, who's looking for a breakaway. Federley, head up, he'll skate it. And now a penalty coming against the Prowlers. It will be Sam Merritt as he was behind the play. And the Prowlers will go short-handed. I didn't see the Thunderbird that was knocked down. But Sam Merritt was behind the play, and he knocked down one of the Thunderbirds, and he'll head to the box. Looks like they just ran into each other trying to watch it here on the stream, but unfortunately for the Prowlers, they call that one a 2-minute penalty against Sam Merritt for cross-checking. And a 4-on-3 opportunity for Carolina with 40.5 seconds to go in period number 2. And once those 41 seconds that Scantlebury and Hussey are in the box for are done, it will be a 5-on-4 man advantage. And that will likely just be at the start of period number 3. Off the draw, Baker to Ford. Back to Dawson Baker. They play catch. Ford goes to Panacek. Back to Baker. Or Ford, excuse me. Here's Baker. Now Ford up top. Salak's in front of the net. Ford puts it there and caught the back glass. Johnson gets it all the way down the ice. 15 seconds to go in the period. One last rush for Carolina. Ford up to Panacek. Drops to the trailer. Baker fires and it went wide. Salak back on goal. Good block by Adam Hansel at the horn. 2 goals for the Thunderbirds in that second period. And Carolina heads to the locker room with the lead and a chance to close out the Prowlers here tonight. Shots on goal in that middle period, 20 for Carolina, 11 for the Prowlers. After the first period saw just 16 total shots between the two teams. 20-11 for Carolina in that second period. The Thunderbirds have a 27-20 lead in the shots on goal department through 2 periods of play, with the Prowlers about to kill a minute 20 of penalty time when we come back. But a couple of big goals there for Carolina. They seem to carry the play for a lot of time in that second period. But that's going to bring us to intermission, and the Prowlers will need a comeback if they will stay alive this season. Let's get your season tickets for next year's 2023-24 season. You get tickets to every home game, pick your seat, and get exclusive benefits. Early bird pricing ends on May 31st, so get your tickets now and become a member of the Prowlers family. Visit the phprowlers.com/season-memberships. That's phprowlers.com/season-memberships to become a part of the Prowlers season ticket family. 2-1 Thunderbirds as we get to the second intermission. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. back here in Winston-Salem. It is 2-1 Carolina as we get set for the start of the third period of play between the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds. Will Wiggleman and Joe Noonan here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Thanks so much for joining us for some playoff hockey this afternoon. It's been a great game, an electric atmosphere throughout the night, but the Thunderbirds came on strong in that second period, able to tie the game.
Yeah, they did, and I thought the Prowlers had a good period too. Thunderbirds were able to capitalize more on their scoring chances. I think they had a little bit better power play opportunities as well. The refs started calling a little bit more than they did in the first period, and Carolina with their high-end skilled players were able to take advantage of that.
It was Jan Salak first on a rush off a Prowlers turnover, and then Dawson Baker later in the period off a rush on a Prowlers turnover. I think it might be a little bit obvious here what the Prowlers might need to clean up in this third.
Yeah, you really gotta button it down discipline-wise, even though, in my opinion, the refs called it a little bit tighter in the second period than they did to start the game off. It seemed like they set the game up with some pretty loose calls as far as penalties go. They were letting quite a bit go. The crowd was giving it to them. Maybe they listened to that a little bit too much, or they were afraid that the game was going to get out of hand from a physical standpoint. But if you're the Prowlers, you just got to be careful, because not only might the Thunderbirds score, but it's usually 2 minutes that you're not scoring, and that's a real detriment when you're already behind.
There will be 1 minute and 20 seconds of power play time for the Thunderbirds when we come back for period number 3, coming up in just about 2.5 minutes. But as I mentioned, Jan Salak and Dawson Baker with the 2 goals for Carolina in that second period, both of them coming off the rush. The Prowlers did have their opportunities, and Boris Babic had to make some really good saves.
Yeah, he did, and he got a little bit lucky on one of them in particular, that one that we talked about where it hit the sidewall of his blocker. If you can imagine, if I didn't explain it well enough before, you try to angle the puck a little bit with your blocker as a goalie with the face of your fist, and if you roll your wrist, too early, it'll hit the inside cuff, the sidewall of the blocker, and that's facing 90 degrees in the wrong direction. That's what happened there, and that rebound just went right off the D-man in front of the net, which is just bad puck luck for the Prowlers.
Blake Peavy absolutely saving a goal there as Joe Devaney was searching for his second of the game on that opportunity on the rebound. So the Prowlers trailing in shots right now, 27-20. They had 11 shots in that second period, 9 in the first. And we expect them to throw everything at Boris Babic in this third period, trying to tie the game.
Yeah, for sure. They got to get pucks and bodies to the net. It's cliche, but it's a cliche for a reason. It works really well. Can't stop what you can't see.
Well, first they will have to defend 1 minute and 20 more seconds of penalty time as Sam Merritt continues to sit in the penalty box as his 2-minute penalty for cross-checking. Just 40 seconds old. Tucker Scantleberry and Brendan Hussey were released from the box at the end of that period. So it is back to a 5-on-4 man advantage for the Thunderbirds as we start this third period. Prowlers in the regular season, when trailing after 2 periods, just 2-21-3. But of course the playoffs are a clean slate. They're a different animal, and we'll see if the Prowlers can buck that trend and get themselves their first playoff win since 2018, when they went to the Commissioner's Cup Finals before losing to the Watertown Wolves. We're just about set for puck drop on the third period here at the Winston-Salem Fairgrounds Annex. Prowlers have Foley, Chartrand, Hansel, and Schumacher out there to defend. They'll be up against Keplinger, Salak, Panacek, Pastuka, and Kennedy. And we are underway in period number 3. Keplinger in, fires, and a good save. Juggling and holding on was Brian Tulliu just 10 seconds into the third period. And now Carolina will get an offensive zone faceoff and a chance to set up the power play. Comes to the boards. Keplinger up high. Kennedy gets it back down low to Keplinger. They continue to play catch. Kennedy walks the line over to Pastuca. Back to Kennedy. Pastuca again. One-time blast. That one wouldn't go. Not sure what that hit. It comes back out to Kennedy. Keplinger walks in all the way across. Pastuca. Oh, cross again. They score on the rebound. Jan Salak right in front of the net. Tolyu made the first save, and Jan Salak put home the rebound. It's 3-1 Carolina. 19:27 to go in the third period.
That's just some bad puck luck again there for the Prowlers. The player that passed it across for the Thunderbirds, it looked like a shot, but it wasn't. He was a righty coming down his left wing. He was trying to go backdoor. It actually, I think it hit Frank Schumacher in the skate. And Brian Tolyu made a nice extension with his left pad to make a save on that one. That's not what you're tracking there as a goalie. You're tracking either a straight shot or a pass all the way across. Just an unlucky rebound placement right on the tape for the Thunderbirds.
So Prowlers Hill is now 2. Scantleberry scores! Tucker Scantleberry gets it right back, and it's back to a one-goal game. 19:14 to go in the third.
Nightmare material if you're the Thunderbirds right there to give it right back. That's something every team struggles with. As soon as you go up, as soon as you score a goal, you got to bear down on that next shift because you might let down a little bit, and the other team's going to be a little bit more motivated to come out and get one real quick.
Tucker Scantleberry with the quick response. And just like that, we're right back where we started. Great move from Scantleberry out of the corner. His second goal of the series, looking for his third. He scores! Tucker Scantleberry has tied the game!
He is him. That is Tucker Scantleberry. We're happy to have him back.
What a shot from Tucker Scantleberry. And in the first minute of this third period, we have gone from 2-1 Thunderbirds to 3-all. What is going on? We're back tied. It's a brand new hockey game. 19 minutes to go in it. Blake Peavy has it behind the net. Now Susie taken away by Graham. In front, Jay! Saved by Bout. The rebound just pushed wide. Graham in the corner. Comes to Williams. Sam Williams put it on net. Stopped by Babbitt. The rebound cleared away by Salak. Couple of players in Babbitt's grill. Everybody back to their feet as Jan Salak holds behind the net. Salak again as the Prowlers make a change. Up to Panacek. Minnie trying to work it through. Comes to Devaney. 3 Thunderbirds back. Joe Devaney sent it all the way across. Thunderbirds get it out. Here's Panacek working on Hansel. His shot out of the glove of Tolyu and behind the net. Schumacher clears it away from the front of the cage. Chartrand gets it out to Carolina ice. It's Bioni. 2 minutes gone in this third period. Dan Chartrand backhands it in. Bioni leaves it for Firth. Comes all the way down. Icing called against Carolina. With 17:33 to go in the third. Nunes, I need a break. You go.
No problem, buddy. To me right now, I'm a little bit worried about Boris Babic, his body language, and I can speak from experience on this one, just the mentality that he's having to deal with right now, probably questioning himself a little bit. This is exactly what you wouldn't want. He hasn't faced a ton of shots yet this period, and 2 of them have gone in. Not necessarily his fault.
Ford behind the net, stolen by Merritt, out in front, Stoya, and that one wouldn't go.
I think it got his shaft. Saw that last night too.
That was a bouncing, rolling puck, and Matt Stoya got almost all of it on that shot. Baker into the Prowlers end. Feeds it across to Ford. He rows it high. Puck bounces to Merritt. Freeborn pokes it only as far as Firth at the line. Firth sends it deep. Parsons and Ford battling. Now Merritt. Merritt dumps it in. Prowlers go off for a change. And now a penalty coming up against Gus Ford as he took down Brian Parsons behind the play. And Port Huron will go to the man advantage. Gus Ford to the box. And here we go. A huge opportunity for the Prowlers. Those 3 goals to start this period coming 24 seconds apart, and the 2 from Tucker Scantlebury coming just 12 seconds apart. And that brought us from a 2-1 Carolina lead to 3-all. Face-off won by the T-Birds. Comes over to Jacob Schnapp. He sends it out. Peavy looking for a short-handed opportunity, taken away by the Prowlers. It's Johnson into the zone, touch off sides as Scantlebury tried to drag the leg. 15 seconds gone in the power play for the Prowlers. 16:25 to go in period number 3. Merritt will line up for the faceoff against Blake Peavy. Just outside of Thunderbird territory. Devaney over to Jay. Now Graham across to Devaney. Prowlers set up. Devaney has a power play goal for Port Huron tonight. Here's Graham with it. Now Merritt. Out high Federley. One touches it to Jay. Saved by Babick. Kennedy holding it up against the wall. 3 Prowlers in there digging away. Kennedy ends up coming out with the puck. He'll go in shorthanded on Federley. And a good play by Austin Federley, who plays some defense sometimes, but Kennedy has a step to the net, poked away by Tolyu, and it bounces back to him. Tense moments for the Prowlers power play, and Brian Tolyu with a huge poke check.
Yeah, that's a good active stick there. He was coming in on his strong side, I would say. Kind of weird because he's down on the goal line, doesn't really have a strong side there, but what I mean is the forehand was closer to the goal line. Not a whole lot of room to work with, and Tally did a nice job surprising him there a little bit with the poke check.
Liam Freeborn drops to Johnson. Over the red line, gets into Carolina territory, sauces it to Freeborn. Drops it back to Stoya. Walks the line, back to Freeborn. Liam Freeborn cycling it, trying to at least. And it comes all the way down the ice. Good clear by Carolina. 35 seconds left in the power play for the Prowlers. Johnson with speed. Up to Scantlebury. Has 2 in the period. Tucker Scantlebury in front. And Babick made the save. Johnson poking away at the rebound. He got a whack on the arm. Drops his stick immediately. And Alex Johnson is in a little bit of trouble behind the net. Johnson doubled over, holding that left arm. Puck's on net, Tucker Scantlebury. Got it to the crease, and Prowlers crashed it, and Alex Johnson seems to be all right. You talk about a guy like Tucker Scantlebury, and Prowlers weren't sure if he was going to be here for the playoffs, as he had spent the season in the SPHL since December after being called by the Fayetteville Marksmen. Played for 3 teams there, ended up coming back before the final regular season weekend. And he has produced the 2 biggest goals of the season, tying this game in the 3rd period. Kennedy dumped Foley in the neutral zone. Meanwhile, the Prowlers on a breakout. Penalty about to expire as Scantlebury makes a move, gets around the net. We're back to 5-on-5. Here's Scantlebury pulling up on the wall to Stoya. His wrist shot blocked. Foley trying to find that puck. Now Scantlebury on the forecheck on Firth. Foley in front, Schumacher! And Babic just got a piece.
That was a nice save by Babic, probably his best of the game so far. Pushed out at the shot, projected his blocker out in front, cut down the angle. That was a good one.
Schumacher back to center. A little wrestling match going on in front of the T-Birds bench. Devaney back and winds, and a shot blocked by Firth. And Babic comes out to clamp the glove on top. 13:55 to go in the third period. 3 goals between the two teams in the first minute of the frame. We're knotted up at 3. You are watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
I've worked at Pioneer and now Corteva for 36 years. It goes by very quickly.
This is a pretty noble profession where you're giving back to humanity.
Curiosity is so important. I learn something new every day.
What's that next challenge that may occur for farmers? You do really feel like you've got an impact on what's coming.
I can see how we're making things better.
And we have the best solutions for our farmers. And I think we're here to feed and fuel the world. I'm proud to be part of that culture, and I'm proud to be part of the company.
Back here in Winston-Salem, face-off will be going to Boris Babic's left, and tension in the building. You can cut it with a knife. Jan Salak put the Thunderbirds up 3-1 with a power play goal 34 seconds into the period, but then Tucker Scantlebury scored twice in 12 seconds before the first minute of this period was even done, and we are at 3 goals apiece. An absolutely wild start to this final regulation frame. And we'll have to do this face-off again. Panacek and Graham in on the draw. And now Panacek kicked out. Salak will come in against Matt Graham. Graham wins it back. Mini wrists it on. Gloved and held by Boris Babic. No rebound. Sam Williams getting a shot on this line with Graham and Jay for this shift. T-Birds switching up the forward unit. They send out Baker, Schnapp, and Ford. Tied up there on the faceoff. Baker pushes it back. Grebenikov able to curl away from Graham. He gives it up to Schnapp. That one goes off the boards. Johnson first to take it. He'll dump it in, and then he gets dumped by Dawson Baker. Ford around behind to Kennedy. Comes up towards Schnapp. Schumacher kept it in at the line. Took a funny hop off a stanchion, and Kennedy skates into it. He has wheels going up ice. Ford backhands it in front. That one got all the way through. Back on net, and that one missed everything. It stays there in the corner. Schumacher first to pick it up. 7 minutes gone in the third period. Baker off the boards towards Schnapp. And now it's Ford with it. Back up to Dawson Baker. Devaney fresh off the bench, able to take it away. Nice move at center, looking for Federley. Just couldn't hang on to the puck. Now Chartrand with a shot, stopped by Babic. He corrals the rebound and gloves it for a whistle. Now Baker and Chartrand getting into it. Dan Chartrand scored there. We could have called this the Manitoba game for the Prowlers.
Absolutely. We love the Northern Canadian boys.
Face-off will be to Babbitt's right. The Prowlers send out Sam Merritt's line. 12:37 to go in period number 3. Merritt and Panacek in on the face-off. This crowd about as quiet as it's been. And now they're starting to make a little bit of noise. Panacek being kicked out of this face-off. He's unhappy about it. Yuri Pastuka will take it. Comes to the boards. Freeborn able to keep it deep. He and Bioni go to the ice. Now up the wall, Panacek gets it out. Glove down by Stoya, and then Scantleberry the next one to touch it, so a hand pass against the Prowlers. You talked a lot about the crowd in this game, Nunes. And after Salak scored, this building exploded. And then probably about a minute of real time later, not game time, real time later, you could hear a pin drop.
Yeah, and for as much positive momentum it gives the Thunderbirds to have their crowd explode, they hear the silence too. Don't forget that.
Icing against the Prowlers right off the face-off. So we'll come all the way back to Brian Tolleyu's end. Tolleyu, 29 saves on 32 shots so far tonight. Off the face-off, it comes to the point. D-to-D pass to Firth. His wrist shot blocked by Freeborn. Pastuka trying to wrestle away from Schumacher. Scantleberry takes the puck. Salak gets it back for Carolina. Salak in front. Big save by Tolleyu on Yuri Pastuka. Panacek to Salak. Out high, Firth. That one hit Freeborn. Now Panacek slid it right through the crease with plenty of traffic in front. Check line going to work for Carolina. Salak up high to Firth. D-to-D Ford. Down low. Blocked away by Merritt. Ford has it back. His shot also blocked by Merritt. And then Panacek's pass was to nobody. Salak able to keep it in though as the Prowlers can't clear. Firth up high. Tried to wrist it on. That hits Scantleberry. And now it comes down low to Schumacher. Around in Scantleberry's direction. He'll chop it out and the Prowlers survive that shift.
A lot of great blocks there and a huge save from Brian.
11:05 to go in the third period. Ford, stick lifted by Graham. Out to Jay. Saved by Babbitt.
I don't think Daltz got all he wanted on that one. He's usually a high glove guy like we talked about last night on his breakaway. Looked like it slid just off the bottom part of his blade there and ended up going low.
Williams back up to Jay. Has Graham going to net. Gets it there. Saved by Babbitt. And he holds on to the rebound. And then Graham and a Thunderbird went crashing into the wall together. And both of them slow to get up. And that's not a scrum over there. That's concern for players on both sides. Looks like the Thunderbird is back up. I believe that was Joe Kennedy. Matt Graham still getting to his feet.
It's the worst way to go into the boards like that. Head first. Right in there with your shoulder. You really worry about your spine, your neck.
So Graham heading off the ice under his own power. That is Tucker Scantleberry that is helping Bridget Smith back to the bench. So Matt Graham, all good. Back on the Prowlers bench, it seems. And we will play on. Prowlers with two grade A opportunities on that shift, and Boris Babbitt had to be phenomenal on both. Grebenikov off the faceoff. He ices the puck, so he'll have the faceoff right back down in T-Bird territory. Bit of a mixed line out there for the Prowlers. Federley, Chartrand, and Devaney. Evan Foley is on the Prowlers bench. He is the one who started tonight between Joe Devaney and Dan Chartrand. Gorbenikov up the wall. Now Schnapp into the zone to Keplinger. One-timer, stopped by Tolyu. Kennedy at the line. Across to Keplinger. That one blocked by Parsons. Now to Matt Stoya. Trying to get it out. It comes to Chartrand. Chips it in. He and Federley chasing after it. Kennedy trying to pull it out. Comes over to the boards. Devaney steps in front of Schnapp. Devaney taken into the wall. Baker on the puck. Now Schnapp through center. Schnapp into the offensive zone, and Tolyu with a good save. Schnapp, still on it. Keplinger lost the handle, and Stoya gets it out, and he goes down. No arms go up. Refs back to letting them play as Keplinger stopped by Tolyu with the glove. Comes to the corner. Rowe battling with Minnie out into the blue paint goes the puck, and Tolyu down to stop it. 9:14 to go in period number 3. We're tied at 3. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel.
Adventures await you at the award-winning DoubleTree by Hilton Port Huron. Experience the breathtaking view of sailboats and freighters, framed against the background of the impressive Blue Water Bridge, all from the comfort of your elegant guest room balcony. Planning a wedding? The DoubleTree by Hilton has the perfect setting to celebrate a marriage with its wonderful landscaping and beautiful reception area. So whether it's a romantic getaway, a family vacation, or a company outing, sweeten it with a view to remember at the DoubleTree by Hilton, Port Huron.
Back here in Winston-Salem, it is 3-3 between the Prowlers and the Carolina Thunderbirds. Coming down to it, Thunderbirds trying to eliminate the Prowlers and move on to the second round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs for the second straight year. Prowlers trying to avenge their series sweep last season. This is game 2. That game 2 was also in this building. A 4-3 Thunderbirds overtime win. Chartrand able to send it out. Actually, I believe it was 3-2, overtime win for Carolina. But either way, that ended the series last year. Prowlers trying to get it back. Here's Scantleberry working in, and he's tripped up. Penalty coming up, and the Prowlers will go to the man advantage.
They're going to complain about that one because Tuck got airborne and might look like he dove on that one, but you could hear the contact that his stick made with Tucker's skates, and that was to negate a grade A scoring chance. Tucker's a lefty coming across on his off wing like that. He's just able to walk the slot if he doesn't get tripped up there.
Blake Peavy, the guilty party, and he'll have to sit in the box for a nervous 2 minutes with 8:55 to go in the third period. Baker kicked out of the faceoff, so Scantleberry will draw with Schnapp. Stoya split out wide on the far side of your screen. Freeborn off the faceoff, curls to the wall. He'll go down low to Foley. Prowlers set up. Scantleberry back to Foley. Across looking for Freeborn, pass too hot to handle, and comes back to center. Johnson into the offensive end. Across to Freeborn. Down low, Foley. Up to Liam Freeborn, now Johnson. Foley parked in front, now he's behind the net with the puck. Give and go, Johnson! Blocked! And they're digging for it underneath Firth. It squirts loose, and Foley has it. Freeborn, now Stoya. to Foley, in front, one more, and Kennedy cut it off. He'll clear it, but only as far as Freeborn at the red line. Sauces it on for Scantleberry. He shoots, he scores! The hat trick for Tucker Scantleberry! A natural hat trick, and the Prowlers have the lead!
What a great shot there. Maybe caught the goalie off guard a little bit because you usually expect the power play to come into the zone and set it up, right? That's the cliche. Go set it up. He just let it rip. He's got a quick release. We talked about it last night. Puck flies off his stick. He picked another corner there.
Tucker Scantleberry has absolutely taken over this third period. 3 straight goals for him. He brings the Prowlers from 3-1 down to 4-3 up with 7:56 left in period number 3. Schumacher blocks it down at the red line. It's chopped back to Prowler ice. Adam Hansel on it there. Hansel up towards Williams, trying to continue to move it along. Graham just gets it into offensive territory. Schumacher off the wall. Graham keeps it moving. This is the first lead for the Prowlers since the start of the second period, when the Thunderbirds tied it 1:22 into the middle frame. Salak coming out in front. He's stopped by Talia, the rebound, and Panacek couldn't get a stick on it. Federley the other way. Shot blocked, and Federley collects it in the corner over to Devaney. Joe Devaney cycling it along for Federley. He'll continue the cycle, but Jan Salak first on the puck. I'm sure we'll see a lot of the check line as things come down to it. 6:45 to go in the period. Devaney makes a move to the backhand. Couldn't get it all the way to the net. He had Stoya breaking as the late man. Chartrand out of the corner. Here comes Dan Chartrand slowly. He'll cycle it all the way around. Salak and Merritt after it. Salak pulls it out. His stick lifted by Scantleberry, but Bioni comes in to collect the puck for Carolina. That pass partially impeded. Grebenikov recovers. He sends it to Prowler ice. Johnson on it there. Scantleberry whacks it into offensive territory. 6 minutes to go in the third period. Keplinger pulls it out. Gives it up to Baker, poked away from him. Now Ford, back at the red line to Baker. Minnie trying to chop it back out. Scantleberry, couldn't backhand it along. Ford dangles, but Scantleberry gets it off his stick. Kennedy up to Gus Ford. He rims it all the way around. 5.5 left in the third period. Kennedy at the point, all the way around to Ford. Out front, all he found was Matt Graham, who plays it off the boards. It's a foot race for the puck, and Kennedy is going to beat everyone there. Keplinger all the way across. Schumacher takes it back in neutral ice. D to Hansel, up towards Jay. Peavy stepped in front of that. Here's Ford to Keplinger. He shoots, blocked on the way through by traffic. Not sure who that hit. And now Firth to Kennedy. Backhands it all the way across. Keplinger and Hansel come together. Puck still there in the corner. Now Federley battling with it, tried to kick it out. Comes up high to Firth. Wrist shot deflected and pops out for Devaney. Chartrand on, Devaney going to the net. Chartrand takes the shot, and it's blocked by Firth. Kennedy keeps it moving around the wall to Salak. 4:20 to go, third period. Jan Salak from the outside, that caught a stick and went all the way through. Devaney couldn't get it out. Parsons up the wall to Chartrand. Now for Devaney. He gets the red line, gets it in. Babick forced to cover up by Sam Merritt. with 3:56 to go in the third period. We will take our final timeout as the Prowlers look to tie this series and force a Game 3. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Freeborn cutting to the net, save, rebound, score!
Every goal,
Back to Jay, wrist shot, he scores!
every save,
Going the other way, Papandrea, saved by Hoffman, the rebound, another one!
every hit,
Good hip check!
every
Fires, and he scores!
single
Michael Haskins, cut pad, heading with another good shot, and then a left, oh boy!
game.
Cardinal, poked away by Hoffman, and the Prowlers win it!
The Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Subscribe now.
Back here in Winston-Salem, 4 3-hour score, final 5 minutes about to continue here in Noons. This is a similar position as the Prowlers were last year here in Winston-Salem, up by a goal late against the Thunderbirds. What can the guys that were here last year learn from that game?
You got to keep attacking. There's 4.5 minutes to go. You can't just hang back, try to block shots, chip pucks out, and get a change to live another day. That's not going to do it. They've got too much firepower up front with guys like Ford and Baker and the check line. It's not going to be sustainable. You got to have some offensive zone time. You got to carry the play a little bit if you're Port Huron for at least part of the last 4 minutes here.
It comes out of the Carolina zone. Now Baker plays it back to Bioni. Worked up to Keplinger. He dumps it in. Tolyu leaves it for Frank Schumacher. 3:40 to go, third period. Schumacher to Jay. Taken off his stick by Keplinger. Comes to the wall. Williams will just send it out. And this will be a delay of game penalty against Sam Williams. And the Thunderbirds head to a late power play with a chance to tie the score. And if you thought killing off that 5-on-3 was important, this one is going to be it. Nobody heading to the box. Williams is back on the bench, and I'm not sure what the referees are chatting about right now. Maybe they're wondering if that was tipped.
That's the only thing I can think of. I think I saw a young girl in the stands walking away with the puck. So it went up and over. It's got to clear the far glass if it goes out over the bench, obviously.
Evan Foley is not heading to the penalty box. Who's heading to the penalty box? I don't think the referees know who's supposed to be in the box. And finally, they do have the right guy. It's Sam Williams. I think the Prowlers might have been trying to put one over on the referees there.
I guess so. Willie seemed like he really didn't think it was a penalty, so I'm not sure why.
I think the Prowlers are trying to send Joe Devaney to the box because Devaney doesn't kill penalties. But the biggest PK of the season for the Prowlers starts now. Ford keeps it in. Gives to Salak. Curling away from pressure, now Ford. All the way across it comes to Panacek. Down low, Keplinger. Pastuka's lined up in the slot. Ford, wrist shot, gloved and held by Brian Tolyu.
Good save there. A little more room than you might want to give Ford on that power play.
Boris Babic is between the hash marks in his own end. We'll keep an eye on him. Minute 40 to go on the penalty to Williams. 3:09 left in the third period.
I'd be surprised to see him pull during this man advantage. It's pretty early, and the Prowlers don't have the icing penalty to deter them from shooting it.
Ford over to Panacek. Down low, Keplinger. Up to Panacek. They switch spots. Panacek to Keplinger again. Forward, one-time blast, glove, saved by Tolyu again. Good save through traffic, plenty of bodies in front on that shot.
Yeah, and I think it may have even been going over the net, but as a goalie, you always want to have the puck rather than not have it. You can always cough it back up to your D-man, try to get him to ice it in that situation, but it's always good to have it in your control.
Keplinger wins the draw. Ford handles it down to Pastuca. Keplinger gloves it in the slot. Now over to Ford again. Panacek. Over to Keplinger. One-timer stopped by Tolyu. Parsons gets it the length of the ice. Halfway through the penalty to Sam Williams. 2:30 to go in the third period. It's Panacek through center with speed. Peter Panacek into the slot. Good play by Matt Graham to get a stick on Salak. Salak up high. Ford to Panacek. Walks down low. Keplinger backhands it to the top. Ford. Ford fakes the shot. Continues to walk. Keplinger takes it off of Schumacher's stick. It's gloved down by Panacek. Over to Keplinger. That one blocked on the way through. I think Schumacher got it. Under 2 to play in the period. Winding, firing, scoring is Peter Panacek. He had a hat trick yesterday. He ties the game with 1 minute 48 seconds. A power play goal for Peter Panacek sends this building into a frenzy.
Saw what happened on that play. The shot got blocked initially, popped up in the air like a pop fly. I think most of the players thought it went up and out of play. A few of the Prowlers even pointed up at the sky, like telling the referee that the puck had gone out, blow the whistle.
Parsons just took the puck up high. He goes straight to the bench. Panacek, the only one who knew where that puck was. Here's Freeborn. Prowlers trying to respond, get the lead back. Mini, wide, fire, save, and it goes to the corner. Minute 28 to go. Scantleberry turnaround try was blocked. All the way around it comes. Stoya keeps it in. Freeborn. Back up to Matt Stoya from the corner. Babbitt had that one sealed off. Now comes all the way out. Mini couldn't reach it. Gino Mini long range pass. Jay touches it in. Final minute of play in the third period in what's been an instant classic. Devaney and Salak come together. Now Kennedy to Panacek. Chartrand digging away. Kennedy able to work it off the boards and out. 45 seconds to go. Devaney to Federley. All the way across, looking for Johnson, poked away by Pastuca. And then Alex Johnson rips the puck away from Yuri Pastuca. Federley backhands it in, 28 seconds to go in period number 3. Grebennikov, and now it's Kennedy. Graham able to poke it away, and it pops into the Prowlers bench. 15.2 seconds separating us from overtime. And you talk about an eerily similar game for the Prowlers as last season's Game 2 here in North Carolina. Prowlers trying to rewrite the script. 8 seconds to go. Hainsel will get it out. 4 seconds left. We will head to overtime. I don't know if you believe in the world being a simulation, Nunes, but a comeback falling short in game one for the Prowlers, followed by a late goal by Carolina to force overtime in game two. Sounds eerily similar to last season's playoff series between these teams.
I think the writers in the story of life got a little bit lazy and they plagiarized from last year. Is that what you're saying? Time is a flat circle. History is repeating itself right now.
We'll see if the Prowlers can rewrite this script, but first we will take a break for them to completely redo the ice, and then 20 minutes will be up on the clock for overtime in Winston-Salem. Well, become a Prowlers season ticket member for the 2023-24 season. Get tickets to every home game, pick your seat, and get exclusive benefits. Early bird pricing ends on May 31st, so get your tickets now. To become a member, visit phprowlers.com/season-memberships. That's phprowlers.com/season-memberships. We have hit the third intermission of the game. Overtime is coming up in just about 17 minutes from now. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the Prowlers YouTube channel. Well, if the greatest two words in sports are Game 7, the next two greatest words have to be playoff overtime. And that is what we have here in Winston-Salem as the Prowlers and the Thunderbirds are knotted up at 4 goals apiece, and they will need extra time. Will Wiggleman here with you on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. I am Joe Newtonless here for the overtime as he has gone to support the team, be a part of the team no matter what happens at the end of this game. I certainly respect his decision. We really appreciate all of his help tonight and all the games that he's been a part of the broadcast team this season. But turning our sights to overtime, it's simple. Carolina scores, the Prowlers season is over. Prowlers score, we'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock back here on the Prowlers YouTube channel and in Winston-Salem. Take you back through this game as the referees hit the ice. Joe Devaney scored a power play goal late in the first period. It was a physical, high-energy first period, and then things started to settle down in the second. Jan Salak scored a minute 22 into the middle frame to tie, then Dawson Baker gave Carolina its first lead of the game late in that frame. Salak scored again, a power play goal just 34 seconds into period number 3. And from there, it was the Tucker Scantleberry show as just 12 seconds, after Salak scored, Scantleberry pulled the Prowlers back within 1. And then just 12 more seconds after that, Tucker Scantleberry scored his second of the game. That made it 3-3, that score lasting until there was under 8 minutes to go in the third period when Scantleberry gave the Prowlers the lead on a power play goal, completing the natural hat trick and cementing his place in one of the great playoff performances in Prowlers history. But unfortunately for the Prowlers, a block shot went high up in the air. Nobody knew where it was except for Peter Panacek. He gloved it down, wound up, and fired a shot past Brian Tollew for a power play goal with under 2 minutes to play in the third. That tied things right back up at 4-4, and that is where we stand as we head into overtime. Let's look at the OT records for these teams from the regular season. Prowlers were 0-4. They did win twice in a shootout, but 0-4, and the Thunderbirds 4-2 in overtimes this year, including 2 wins against the Prowlers. But those overtimes are 3-on-3. This one will be 5-on-5. 20 minutes are up on the board for overtime from the Annex. The first playoff overtime of this season in the FPHL, and we are underway. Yuri Pastuka to the neutral zone. Grebenikov couldn't handle the pass, he gets it deep. Alex Johnson taken in by Salak, who has 2 goals on the night. And now Tucker Scantleberry, who has 3. Scantleberry dumps it around. Freeborn and Grebenikov get there together. Freeborn cycles to Scantleberry, put it out to the middle of the ice. Nobody home for the Prowlers. Stoya dumps it deep, right on Babic. He'll leave it for Kennedy. Long lead pass on for Ford. Overskated the puck. He has it back. Ford with a shot. It goes wide. Now Gus Ford dumped behind the net by Parsons. No arm will come up for that one. As Kennedy tries to whack it out, Williams kept it in. Williams down for Graham. Matt Graham ended up running into the cage there, so he lost the puck. Williams keeps it in again, only momentarily though, as it's worked back out to Ford. He overskates the puck again. Williams bumps with Kennedy. Prowlers in the midst of a change. Kennedy skates it out. Federley lines him off the puck. Puck knocked down. Federley dumps it back in. 1.5 minutes into overtime. It's sent all the way down the ice, and an icing called against the Thunderbirds, and an offensive zone faceoff coming for the Prowlers. 18:22 to go in period 4 of this game. Prowlers searching for their first overtime victory of the season, and to exercise the demons of last year when they lost in overtime in this building in a game that sent the Thunderbirds to round number 2. Same scenario, Prowlers looking for a different outcome. Schnapp able to get it out to Ford. We'll see a lot of him in overtime in the long-range shot from the neutral zone, gloved by Tolyu, and he'll hold on for a whistle and a face-off. 18-14 left in overtime, and Schnapp and Parsons having a couple of words. So the first defensive zone face-off of the period for the Prowlers. They send Austin Federley out to take it. Lined up between Joe Devaney and Dan Chartrand. John Batita will face Federley. Batita wins it back. Firth gets it down the wall. Batita cycles it for Keplinger. Keplinger up to the top. Sends it all the way around. Hainsel first on. He's able to chop it further. Chartrand couldn't get it out. Now Hainsel just puts it to center. Firth on it. Batita coming back in. The crowd getting loud here at the annex. A pass to the slot went off of Chartrand's skate. Now Firth through traffic. That hit a couple of bodies and went out of play into the netting. 17:38 to go in overtime. Nervous energy from the fans here, certainly on both benches. Merritt and Panacek as the check line gets its first shift of overtime for Carolina. Merritt wins it cleanly. Stoya takes it around the net, one hands it on for Graham. Off the boards and out, Williams skates into it. Now Williams, power move to the net, and he just couldn't reach it on the other side. Panacek, who tied the game with under 2 to play, dumps it in. He and Parsons come together, and now Graham able to get it out to Jay. Dalton Jay into the offensive zone, sauces it towards the cage. Couldn't find Stoya's stick. He was going towards the crease. Stoya holds, waits for his team to get back on sides, and now he'll back it out to Parsons. Up towards Scantleberry, got through him, and PV collects. Panacek, long lead pass on for Salak. He has to come back for it, and he'll dump it in. T-Birds make a full 5-man change, 16:41 to go in overtime. Freeborn into the offensive zone, drops to Scantleberry. He floats one that ends up on the far side wall for Merritt. Freeborn able to dig it out, up high Mini. He risks it all the way around. Johnson came in for it, but it was a delayed offside situation. Prowlers didn't seem sure about that, but 16:19 to go in OT. We'll have another face-off just outside of T-Birds territory. Federley and Baker on the face-off. Federley wins it back. Adam Hainsel able to work by. He dumps it in. Federley and Kennedy after it. Kennedy pokes it away from Austin Federley. Now Chartrand dumps it around to Federley. Took a hit from Kennedy. Chartrand trying to keep the puck in. T-Birds looking to get it out, but the pass to Grebenikov was behind him. Now Schumacher stops it, 2-on-1. Ford with Baker. Ford shoots, saved by Tolyu. Devaney back out, off the wall to Graham. 3-on-3 rush. Graham into the zone. He shoots. Saved by Babick. The rebound bounced past Joe Devaney. And now Gus Ford with a chance. Things opening up a bit. Ford to Baker. Shoots. He scores! And Dawson Baker ends the Prowlers season. It ends here in overtime for the second straight year. It's Dawson Baker with the winner, and the Carolina Thunderbirds win this series 2-0. It's a stunned Prowlers team, as there are guys on this team whose professional careers have come to a close tonight, including Gino Mini, who you see there on the bench. If you see the Prowlers bench directly under the scoreboard, that's Gino Mini on your right. He's been very vocal about this being his final game as a professional hockey player. And what a great career it has been for Gino Mini, as Brian Parsons has been wanting at the referee. The handshake line begins, and the Prowlers season is over. Please stick around for the post-game show. I've a lot of messages to get out to the fans who are tuning in right now. I'm going to wait until the noise dies down a little bit before we eulogize this Prowlers season. For Dawson Baker, that is his second goal of the game, and it's the same demons for the Prowlers as last year, as the season ends once again in Winston-Salem. Again, please stick around for the post-game show tonight, because I have a lot to talk about to eulogize this season for the Prowlers. First, let's go back into this game. Devaney, who had the opening goal on the power play, gave the Prowlers a 1-0 lead, and Carolina scored twice in the second, built up a 3-1 lead in the first minute of the third. But Tucker Scantleberry scored 3 times in the third period in a row, gave his team a 4-3 lead. Peter Panacek, a power play goal, was able to tie things back up, send it to overtime, where Dawson Baker ends it. Just 4 minutes and 37 seconds in, and send the Carolina Thunderbirds to the second round, where they'll have a date with the Columbus River Dragons. Oh, this has been a fantastic season for me of Port Huron Prowlers hockey. I want to give thanks to everybody in the organization: Matt Graham, Alex Johnson, Barry Soskin, who gave me the opportunity to come in and be the voice of the Prowlers. I had never called a hockey game in my life before this season. I played hockey growing up. I was a club hockey player at Hofstra University, but I had never called a hockey game in my life. I called plenty of other sports, but not hockey. I sent in tape of me calling an NHL 22 game to Matt Graham's office in hopes that he would let me become the broadcaster for his team, and that's exactly what he did. He took a chance on me, and I'm very, very grateful for that. To all the McMorran Place staff, all the volunteers, and everyone who makes every Prowlers game work, a huge thank you to all of them. A special big thank you from me to Kim, who ran the camera every single game at McMorran Place this season. I could not have done it without her. It is significantly harder to do this job while trying to run the camera. You've seen it. You've seen me try and do it multiple times this season. It's been tough, but Kim was a huge, huge help all year long. To you, the fans, every single person who came out to McMorran Place, who was watching the live streams, whether you watched one game, every single game, some of the games, doesn't matter. A big thank you to every single person who tuned in to me on the Port Huron Prowlers YouTube channel. Gigantic thank yous all around for all of you. You made this a fantastic first season. You took me in, a New York guy who had never been to the state of Michigan in his life, came out and you all made me feel like family, the players, the organization, and you, the fans. Thank you so much to everyone that I've had the privilege of interacting with this season. Thank you so much for your hospitality, your kindness, and it's been a great year. I've had so much fun with this team, traveling with the team, and calling all of these games. It's been a great year, and I hope everybody can appreciate the strides that this Prowlers team made this season. And despite leaving in the same fashion from the playoffs this year as they did last year, it was certainly a different energy around this team. It was a much better, I believe it was a much better team from what I've been told from people around the league, people in the locker room, in and around the organization, and again the league. This is a much better Prowlers team than it was last year, and the steps keep coming, the strides keep coming, and Matt Graham next year in year number 3, and of course it will be his second year without Joe Pace still with the team. Of course, Pace spent most of his time last year worried about the Mississippi Seawolves and bringing that organization to the FPHL, but Matt Graham has some work to do this offseason. Again, he'll be losing pieces such as Gino Mini, who Gino Mini I want to give a big shout out to. He's always been a great guy in the locker room, a true character, and he was always great to me. And shout out Gino Mini. Best of luck to him in retirement. Hope to see him around McMorran Place next year, of course. This team will certainly look a little bit different next year, as happens a lot in this league. Everybody's on a one-year contract. Anybody can be cut at any time, really, in the FPHL. But appreciate the guys who came out to battle for you. 56 games out of the year, these 2 playoff games. And you know, certainly there's some extra fuel to the fire for guys like Matt Graham and Alex Johnson, who've been around a long time and haven't gotten a chance to hoist the Commissioner's Cup, and even young guys like Sam Merritt and Evan Foley, who in their short careers that have spanned a season and a half have faced heartbreak here in Winston-Salem twice. And they'll certainly be back with a vengeance. Of course, the rookies like Adam Hainzel on defense. Look at Tucker Scantleberry, had a great game tonight. Those guys, we'll see. They should be back. Of course, Scantleberry will be getting his opportunities in the SPHL as well. His looks there, but we'll see what this team looks like next year. But the Prowlers certainly have a ton of heart, a ton of fight, and they showed it here tonight with their backs against the wall. They gave it every single thing they had, and unfortunately, a bad bounce near the end of regulation, and then one shot in overtime, and that ends their season. But to everyone who's still tuning in right now, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and thank you so much from everyone in the organization, from Matt Graham, Alex Johnson, the entire player staff, Chris Paul and the rest of the coaching staff, all up to the top to Barry Soskin, the owner. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting the Prowlers. This is a team that plans to be around Port Huron for a long time and continue to bring great games to McMorran Place. We will see you in October, Prowlers fans. Have a great summer.